mentioned the cashless payments was obviously a big step forward. The ratios of machines was a big step forward. I agree with Michael that the stuff on casinos was very sensible in terms of machines, licenses, sports betting, credit to non-UK residents. I think all of that was very sensible. In terms of where they've got wrong, I think you mentioned earlier about the statutory levy for manufacturers and suppliers. I just think that's a cock-up. I can't believe they actually intended that, to be honest. And I think you got the impression from Stuart's reply that I don't think they're going to they couldn't find it. And then I think they're going to change that, because I've got that file under cock-up rather than conspiracy. As you maybe should in politics, I might add. I think Michael's absolutely right about the National Lottery. I mean, it's quite extraordinary that the National Lottery is not in the scope of these things, not in the statutory levy. I think it tells you a lot about the mindset of people who make decisions about gambling. Actually, they talk about problem gamblers, but actually at the end of the day, they're not actually that interested in who's losing the money. They're more interested in who's winning the money. And because the profits from the National Lottery go to good causes, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's all going to a good cause. But if it's going to greedy shareholders, well, we need to clamp down on that. Actually, if you're interested in problem gamblers, it shouldn't matter who's winning the money. It should be who's losing the money that you should be focused on. And there's no reason why the National Lottery should be excluded from that. I mean, look, you should never be reassured when the government and people say it's going to be evidence-based, because I mean, just think what the opposite of them saying that would be. I mean, that there's not going to be evidence. Well, they're not going to say that, are they? Just because they say it's going to be evidence-based, of course they're going to say it's going to be evidence-based. They can't say anything other. But it doesn't mean to say that it is going to be evidence-based. I mean, and I always say that politicians make political decisions. They don't make logical decisions. You should always remember. So don't go armed with evidence. Go armed with political arguments. And of course, the big thing that's wrong with it all is the affordability checks, which is an absolute dog's dinner, to be perfectly honest. It's an absolute dog's dinner, and most of it is completely unjustifiable. It's perverse, it's ridiculous, it's going to have a massively damaging impact on great sports like horse racing. And I don't really know where they're going to go, because you can't scrap affordability checks. It's the flagship part of the white paper. But they're going to have to try and do something, because I'm afraid that as it's currently envisaged, affordability checks are going to have a devastating impact on lots of the online gambling industry, but also, like I say, sports like horse racing, and that's not acceptable to me.